Hi guys, hi, how's it going? How you doing today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today is my 2022 Best of Beauty, and this is so exciting. I'm so excited to talk to you about the products on this list, and it is a gigantor list. So I'm hoping I can fly right on through it. Just a friendly reminder, this doesn't mean that they were brand new in 2022. This means that they were brand new to me in 2022. So some of them might be older products. Maybe you've had them for years in your collection and you already know them to be great or not great in your humble opinion. These are the products that I used in 2022 for the first time, and I'm excited to talk to you about them. So I hope that sounds like something you're interested in watching. If it does, please keep on watching. For those of you new here, hi, my name is Donna. I'm a lover of all things high-end, colorful beauty and self-care. I also work in the beauty industry as a field leader for Ulta Beauty. I get a lot of education in my position. I like to bring you that education here on this channel, but ultimately I just kind of like to talk about makeup. And if you're here, I'm assuming you also kind of like to talk about makeup. So I hope that you find that this channel warms your heart, brings solace to your soul in the way it brings solace to mine, and that you'll want to subscribe before you go. I would love to welcome you into my YouTube fam here. Please let me know down in the comment section. If you do subscribe, I'd like to welcome you personally. And with that said, let's roll into the products that I think were amazing that I tried for the first time in 2022. So I have all these products sitting in front of me. I dug them out of my empties video, which I just finished. So if this is an outfit that you've seen me in before, which it probably has, because I don't make any qualms about the fact that I bulk record. It is the same makeup, the same everything that I was wearing in my year of empties video. So it made it super easy for me to dig some of these out of my empties products. And I want to make sure I get to them all because they all were pretty amazing in my humble opinion. So I'm going to start with the products that are in my empties just so that I can get them back in the trash can. Let's talk about this mascara. So I am not a person that jumps headfirst into mascaras. Typically, mascara is a mascara is a mascara. In my humble opinion, I've not found that perfect mascara for me yet. And this one is no different, but this one is one that I received a little tiny sample of at FLC this last year in gratis, and then I went on the hunt because I loved it so much. It did so much amazing things for my lashes. It not only made them look as long as I could ever dream my lashes could look, but it also made them look so full. They almost looked fake in my humble opinion. This mascara came in two different size wands, one a little tiny mini size one and one a more fluffy type size one. They're called the Mega and the Micro Stack, and I ended up purchasing both. I loved this mascara so dang much, but at the end of the day, it was a little bit flaky, if I'm 100% honest with you, but not until I had been using it for about 3 months. And I anticipate that that was its indicator that it was, drying up, going bad. So I did throw it in my empties at that point in time. I haven't repurchased it because I do have a ton of mascaras in my backup bins that I want to get through first. But this was the only mascara on this list this year. I loved this mascara so dang much. The next thing along the same lines is a primer. So I am a primer lover. I am a primer believer. I'm not sure that I believed in lash primer until I tried this. This is the Lancome Cils Booster XL, and you guys, this did remarkable things for my lashes. I was kind of disgusted with myself. I mentioned this in my empties video, kind of disgusted with myself that this had been open and in use for like 7 months in my collection. It's dang expensive, so I understand why I didn't want to purchase another one, but I have been using lash primer for probably the last 3 years. I have not sparse lashes necessarily, but aging lashes, if that makes any sense. Like I do have like areas of my lashes that aren't as long as other areas of my lashes, and I have areas of my lashes that aren't as full as some areas of my lashes, and This made them look, you know, consistent from one end of my eye to the other end of my eye. My lashes look consistent. It also helped with volumizing and all the other things that I was trying to go after with my lashes that I felt like these two mascaras together did. This could help any other mascara like get to, in my humble opinion. I would put it on my lashes, I would wait, you know, probably 60 seconds, and then I would start putting on the mascara that I was using. I also felt like this really helped with the length of time I was able to use a mascara before I felt like it started drying up or going bad or flaking on me. And I have had problems with mascaras that I used in the past that I didn't have this year using those mascaras, and I attribute it to my use of this primer. I will forever be a person that will be purchasing the Lancome Sills Booster XL lash primer as long as it's out. Right now I have a couple other lash primers I want to get through first that are in my collection, but as soon as those are gone, that will be the only lash primer that I will purchase. I also liked the CoverGirl like Lash Amplify lash primer as well, but this one I absolutely loved. The next product that I have that was in my empties is the Tula Prima of Your Life. It's a primer that I fell in love with and ended up putting in my project pan, hence the little orange line here, because it was an easy peasy finishing product for me. I wear primer every single day, but this one was just so easy for me to use. So it came out of the tube one color and then went onto the skin another. I felt like it was correcting, but also like blurring and also like perfecting, if that makes any sense. It was such a wonderful primer. And I have a couple of products in here from Tula actually this year. One thing that I am pull out and put in here is also their sunscreen, their daily sunscreen. I use that as well. I fell in love with Tula products this last year, and this is one of the primers that I would like to have as a regular everyday primer in my collection when I finish some of the other primers that I currently have in my collection. I would repurchase this. I would repurchase any of this, hands down. The next one is a very expensive skincare item, and it is the Lancome Advanced Genifique. Listen, I did not expect that I was going to fall in love with this when I started using it. This is something that I got in gratis, and I'm so thankful for that because it's damn expensive. It's just a hydrating, youth activating concentrate is what it's called. I'm not sure that it has like any like actives or anything like that in that, but I could 100% see the difference in my skin utilizing this versus not utilizing this. And right now I just have a little tiny like travel like sample vial of it in my travel bags that I use when I'm out and about, but I have too much skincare to even think about repurchasing this at any time in the very near future. But I loved this so much, and my skin loved it. My skin just looked plump and juicy and healthy and glowy from the moment I started using it until I was out of it. And then the last thing that is in empties that I brought out of my empties to be able to talk to you about is the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat Lip Pencil. So this is one of two Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat Lip Pencils that I used last year. I had only ever finally opened it up and tried it last year after receiving it as I think a birthday perk from Sephora, and I received the little tiny itty bitty Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lipstick, which I didn't 100% love, and then the Lip Cheat also in Pillow Talk, and then I ended up purchasing Iconic Nude because it's raved about here on the beauty space, and I wanted to see why all the hubbub about it. But I loved the Pillow Talk one. The formula of it is super creamy, but it doesn't go all over the place, and it really works really well as a lip liner, but it also doesn't tug and pull, which is unheard of for honestly a sharpenable pencil liner. I loved this so much. It took me next to no time to go through this lip liner. Lip liners don't take me much time to get through in the first place because I use them all over my lips. Like today it's a lip liner all over my lip and then a gloss on top. That's typically what I do for my lips. So it doesn't take me much time to get through a lip liner in the first place, but I loved the formula of that one. I did a whole video on trying to find a dupe in my collection for Iconic Nude because I fell in love with that lip liner. Not just the formula though, also the color. The color is just perfection for any lipstick, any eye look, anything that I wanted to wear. That was the perfect lip liner to partner with it. The rest of this I do have in my active collection right now, so let's barrel on through those things. I do have 2 concealers that I fell in love with this year, which I'm totally shocked about because concealer is not one of those things that I have spent the good majority of my time here on YouTube hating concealer. But these 2 I actually fell in love with and would repurchase, and will probably only repurchase these 2 in the future. Now this one, this Kosas Revealer Concealer, I do think is a little bit too light for me during the summertime, but it's almost perfection for me during the, fall after I lose my coloring in winter and the early springtime. It is wonderful, and they have so many different undertones in this concealer that you have to give them props because this is kind of an olive undertoned concealer that I have in my possession, and that's not typical. Typical, you get warm, neutral, or cool. It is perfection for me in my lighter toned months. And then the LYS Triple Fix Full Coverage Brightening Concealer. So one thing that these 2 have in common is that they have a really great amount of coverage and they feel like they're not on your skin at all. So super lightweight, super serum-y. They just feel really good, but also have a great amount of coverage. Whereas a lot of other concealers that I've tried are kind of heavy, honestly, and drying. Neither one of these do that. So really love these concealers. Could fall in love with concealer if these were how all the concealers that I had in my collection were. When these are something that's in my project pan or my shop, my stash, or whatever, I do use these quite significantly and don't feel like I need to pull them in as a foundation just to get the use out of them that I want to get out of them. For primers, I do have 3 different primers, 2 of which are eye primers and 1 is a face primer. I really fell in love with the ABH eye primer and the Ulta Beauty matte eye primer over the last year. I do think that this one which is the ABH one, I do think I maybe fell in love with this one in late 2021, but I really got a great amount of use from it in 2022 as well, and really rounded out how I felt about it in 2022. So it did, I think, come into my collection late 2021, and that might be when I fell in love with it. But I did end up purchasing a full size of this eye primer because it is a eye primer that has kind of like a drier liquid consistency to it, and it's white based. So me, who likes to wear different colorful eye looks, this really came in handy as a great eye primer that helped with the longevity of wear, but it also was white based, so it didn't impact, or actually kind of helped, any of the crazy colored eye looks that I was going after for like whatever I was doing, Instagrammable looks or whatever. The Ulta Beauty matte eye primer is something that I got in a sample this last year in like a gift with purchase or something like that I had purchased from Ulta, and ended up buying a full-size version of that primer because I had tried an Ulta Beauty primer in the past, eye primer in the past, but it was a shimmery version and I hated it, and so I had kind of warded off the matte version even, but received it in this gift with purchase and tried it out for the first time in like a project pan, I think I brought it in as, and really fell in love with it. Like, this does so great for such an affordable eyeshadow primer. I mean, it's not just great for the price, it's great period. I prefer this over almost every other eye primer in my collection, or that has been in my collection. I definitely prefer this over Primer Potion by Urban Decay. That burns my eyes so bad. This doesn't. The one thing that I don't love about this is that there's not a white base version, so it is kind of a creamier, like beige color and could be too dark for certain skin tones or too light for other skin tones. There's not like a wide array of color to it. So it does and can, depending on how much you're using of it or what colors you're using, it can impact the color of the shadows that you're putting on your lid. But I really like how it impacts the use of the eyeshadow, the performance of the eyeshadow that I'm wearing. And then for a face primer, in addition to the Prime of Your Life by Tula, I also really fell in love with the Tula filter primer. And this is a blurring and moisturizing primer that has a kick of color to it. So again, much like this one, it has a little bit of color correcting, a little bit of like almost blurring that happens to it. And this one also goes on white, but then as you blend it into your skin, it kind of becomes like this color correcting color of peachiness. It's just perfect. It, like I said, it blurs any imperfection that you have going on your skin. I was honestly kind of shocked by it. And honestly, like I said earlier, a minute ago, fell in love with Tula as a brand this year. Up until this year, I hadn't really tried Tula. Tula is my daughter's favorite, but wasn't really a brand that I had on my radar until this year. Okay, I have some foundations, and I'm not 100% a foundation lover. I really love skin tints. I really love tinted moisturizers. Really like coverage foundations. Today I am wearing a foundation and I can feel it on my face and I can feel it every time I touch my face and I can see it as I'm looking at myself in the monitor, and that drives me bonkers. So I'm not necessarily a lover of foundation, but with that said, there are 3 actual foundations in this conglomeration here that I really fell in love with. Number 1, the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. This has been everybody's favorite over the last year. Like, it is something that came out pretty early this year, I do believe. I fell in love with because it is a decently like light medium foundation as far as coverage goes, but it's very skin-like. It lets your skin breathe. It's very movable with your skin. It reminds me a lot of the Makeup Forever HD foundation that I loved so much, that breathable, moved with your skin, didn't really sink into fine lines and wrinkles, but it also gives you like this really healthy, like just glow about your skin, and it feels like a skin tint while giving you the coverage of a foundation. So it doesn't get makeup-y. It feels really good. It's pretty liquidy. I love this foundation. The next one I have on here is the Chanel, the Numere Un de Chanel, I think is what it's called. I can't say it, but it's the camellia flower Chanel foundation that has skincare properties to it and is proven to help your skin with time as you use it. And the first couple times I used this, I was like, oh, I don't know that I love this. It's too full coverage. It's got too much coverage to it. It makes my skin feel weird. But the more you use it, the more you can tell that you're using it because your skin just looks better. Like, I'm not sure what it is, like less red, less, I don't know that I feel like it helped like any fine lines or wrinkles or anything like that. It really doesn't clog my skin. It has a high level of coverage. It feels good on my skin. I can't feel it. It's not cakey. It's not makeup-y. And I really feel like my skin feels better even after I take it off for days after using it. It's just such a beautiful foundation. It looks beautiful on your skin also while you're using it. So it's expensive. So I'm glad that I like it as much as I do, because if I didn't, that would be solely tragic. This is so expensive. It's like a $70 foundation. The last like foundation that I have in here is this one. And this one is kind of new to me, so I feel really weird putting it in here. It came out late in 2022, but it came out nonetheless, and everybody lost their minds, and I was one of them that decided to jump on that bandwagon and try it. And this is also a really great high coverage foundation that has skincare properties that makes your skin look better the more you use it. And the first instance you put it on, or at least for me it was, I put it on and I'm like, I hate this foundation. But the longer I wore it throughout the day, same as this guy, the longer I wore it, the better it looked. And I'm just like, okay, so I can put this on 2 hours later, walk out of my house, it's going to look better than it did when I first put it on, and so on and so forth. And by the end of the day, it just doesn't wear away from your skin. It just makes everything just look good forever, because your skin looks good as long as this is on it. I don't know what kind of magic is in this, or this for that matter, but it's so pretty on your skin the longer you wear it. So really fell in love with this guy, and that guy has some really great undertones as well. And then as far as like a more of a light coverage foundation, you know, more around the tinted moisturizers or the like CC BB cream type products that I really, really love, is the It Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Plus, their It Cosmetics Nude Glow. Beautiful. I loved this so much. And I honestly, when I first got this, because I got it in gratis, when I first got this, I thought I was going to hate it, because I don't love the It Cosmetics foundation that comes in the same kind of like packaging. Every time I get one in gratis, I give it to my sister, because I really can't stand it. It's super, super thick. This is not thick at all. It's got really nice consistency to it. It's beautiful and illuminating, makes your skin look healthy without looking cakey and without feeling like you've got a ton of foundation on your face. So really, really loved this, and really kind of fell in love with the Tarte Cloud Coverage. Again, didn't think I was going to love this, because this is called Tarte Shape Tape Cloud Coverage. I hate Shape Tape. I hate everything about Shape Tape. I even hate the Ultra Creamy Shape Tape Concealer that I thought I was going to love, because it's a creamier version and should have been more hydrated and should have been less looking like 90 years old on my skin. This was perfection. I loved this. Again, it goes on to your skin and feels not like foundation, has a decent amount of coverage. And I have two different colors. Again, I got it in gratis. It just feels very lightweight while also maintaining coverage, doesn't exacerbate your skin, looks really nice throughout the entirety of the time frame that you're wearing it, wears away beautifully, and you still get to see the reality of your skin peeking through to some extent, while also covering all the things that you deem imperfect. So really love this foundation also. I have just one brow product that I kind of fell in love with this year, and this one also came to me kind of, I guess, mid-year, late mid-year, and that is the Benefit Gimme Brow Plus Volumizing Pencil. I was really, really sad to see that. I do believe this was on Jen Love's like worst of list, but I have had zero problems with this pencil. I know she said that she couldn't get any color off of hers. Maybe she got a bad one, but I love this pencil. It isn't what's in my brows today. It's the first time I've fallen in love with a sharpenable brow pencil in years. The spoolie on it is also quite nice. Like, I like Benefit spoolies in the first place, but this one actually comes to a taper, which I think has been something that I've mentioned in the past that I wish their spoolies did. So really glad that this one also comes in a taper. This is in the shade 4.5, and that might be why I love it so much, but I also feel like it has the like gimme brow prospects of the like brow gel with the fibers in it that make your brows look fuller. It has those prospects without being a gel, without adding a little bit of stickiness or tackiness to your brows. I just think it's a beautiful brow pencil. I'm gonna put it in my project pan this year because I do want to get through it, and I do think it'll be an easy gimme product for me because it's a sharpenable pencil, and it will be something that I enjoy using all year because I really do love it. I think my brows look amazing. And this is all that's in them this year, or this today. For lips, I have, besides the Charlotte Tilbury lip cheat, these are the lip products that I have. This is one product specifically, but these are two more of the same lip product because I fell in love with the one that I used and it went into my empties. It is by Context, which is kind of like this weird like beauty box brand. You only get it in like Ipsy, I think it is, and I fell in love with this balm. Not only is it beautiful and makes your lips look, you know, moisturized and beautiful, and it feels emollient on your lips, but it's also got a nice like color to it. I did get two different colors this last time, so I ended up getting a red one and kind of like a coral one that I love, but I felt like these were really hydrating to my lips. Even though they had color, which a lot of times a colored balm makes my lips feel really dry, to be honest. And they made my lips feel good, feel hydrated, but also look nice and juicy. So really fell in love with this balm this year. Actually used one up entirely already. I also fell in love with the Lawless Forget the Filler gloss. This gloss is something that never would have been on my radar, but I purchased it because I watch a lot of stuff from It's Just Stuff. I talk about her a lot, and she raves about these, as does Samantha March. And these are plumping without being like stingy, and I really like that. In addition to the fact that the doe foot has this really cool shape to it that it like hugs your lip. It feels so good, makes your lips look juicy, wonderful plumping gloss. And then in addition to that, I have the Makeup by Mario Moisture Glow. Oh my god, you guys. This one you have to be careful with because it's got a clicker. And if you click it too much, it's not going to go back down. So you do have to be careful with it. This also is plumping without kind of that stingy feeling. It feels warm, but it doesn't feel stingy. It plumps your lips and it just makes your lips look so juicy. I mean, I just put it on and I feel like you can see like the difference in my lips between now with this on and 20 seconds ago when it wasn't on. This is such a beautiful gloss and just makes your lips look so, so good and plumps without hurting. I want every single color of those Makeup by Mario Moisture Glows. And they are full of moisture. Like your lips do feel hydrated after having had that on your lips. So next, let's talk about some cheek products. So I have some blushes and some bronzers to talk about. So first, let's talk about bronzers. The only powder bronzer I have on here is NARS Laguna. You guys, I know, where have I been, right? I fell in love with NARS Laguna this year. The first time I had ever used it was this year. I got it in a set with a NARS tinted balm that I also fell in love with this year from Sephora, and ended up purchasing another deluxe size of NARS Laguna bronzer after finishing the other size that I had received from Sephora. This is a beautiful bronzer. I love it so much and don't want to ever not have it in my collection. And then I had a special kind of love for cream bronzers this year. So I have 3 of the, like, I don't know, 6 or 8 that I brought into my collection this year that I actually truly love. The NARS one, like, what can I say about this? This is a perfect bronzer. I got it deep enough that I can use it during certain times of the year as a contour. It goes on beautifully and creamy and then becomes like this powder. It doesn't lift your makeup underneath. It's just so pretty, and I mean, I couldn't ask for a better one. I would say that all three of these I feel the same way about though, but this one is more of a contouring shade for me. And then these two, the Chanel Le Beige cream bronzer, and then the Healthy Glow bronzing cream, and then the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Sun-Kissed Glow bronzer in medium, I do believe. Yes. These are both also beautiful to me, and these though have a slight bit of luminosity to them without glitter, but they really do make your cheeks look healthy and glowy, almost like just a healthy glow without being glowy. This one is more, I would say this one is more like balmy, but it dries down than this one. This one is definitely feels more powdery immediately to the touch than any of these cream bronzers do, but they're all just so pretty and perfect and beautiful and go on and don't create any kind of patchiness or give you any trouble. They're not super fickle. You don't have to finesse them in any sort of way. They just go on almost perfection from the minute you touch it to your face. So really loved those. And then I have some blushes that I fell in love with this year. It's not 6 different blushes. There are actually 4 different blush formulas here. Number 1, and the only like creamy one that I have, is the Glow Play blushes. These are so cool and amazing and last forever on your skin. I do have this one here, which I kind of had this affinity for crazy colored blushes this year. This one is in the shade Heat Index, and then this one is in the shade Blush Please. So it's more of that, you know, neutral tone blush. It's a putty formula that kind of moves around and is malleable in here, but you put it onto your skin and it just sinks into your skin and becomes one, and isn't powdery and isn't creamy and isn't balmy and nothing sticks to it. It's just beautiful, beautiful on your cheeks, and it stays forever. Like, longest lasting blush in my collection by far. I have the Pat McGrath. This is the only one that I have, and I do think that I tried this out probably late 2021. This is the blush in Flirtatious, and for me, it's about this shade. And I know this shade does not look like much, but this is just such, and I'm not going to show it to you in a swatch because it really truly does look like nothing in a swatch. But you put it on and it just goes on your skin. It gives this nice healthy glow to it without the glitter, without the luminosity to it. But it just blends in with everything else that you've got going on and looks like perfectly natural, pigmented, rosy cheeks. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful blush. And I love it for days when I'm even not wearing any makeup, to just kind of even out the blushiness of my cheeks. The new Benefit blushes, like, who are they? Like, I love these blushes. I have 5 of the, I think, 12 or 8 or whatever it is that is there. And these 2 that I pulled are Tara and Willa. I have Butterfly, the crazy orange one. I have Moon, the crazy, like, almost purple one. I have a lot of them, and maybe I have 6 or 7, I can't remember. I have so many. Some of them I got in gratis, some of them I purchased, but these are beautiful, beautiful powders. And I've always had an affinity for Benefit blushes and powders, but these, for whatever reason, I feel like are so much better than any of their other blushes or bronzing powders than they've ever had in the past. They go on beautifully, they blend beautifully, there's no like patchiness or anything, and they don't like kick up a lot. They're not super powdery. They're beautiful on the skin, and there's so many different colors to choose from. And then the Bare Minerals bronzers. These are not a bronzer, so if you're buying them because they're called a bronzer and therefore should be a blush bronzer, they're not a bronzer. But these are in 3 different colors. I have 2. I have Kiss of Rose and Kiss of Copper, and there's one other one. They have a way about them that can make your whole like face look like it's been blush bronzed and highlighted all in one fell swoop. They're just beautiful and pigmented and creamy, but not creamy and not balmy and not powdery. They're just so pretty. My favorite is probably the Kiss of Copper because it leans a little more terracotta, and I love like a creamy coral blush tone on my face personally. So this is probably my favorite one, but they're just both so beautiful. Bare Minerals really did a really great thing with these, and I'm glad that when they first initially came out with them, they were limited edition, then they took them away and everybody revolted and rioted and they brought them back. That was such a smart thing for them to do because those blushes are everything. For eye products, I have quite a few like different eye products, including palettes, but we're going to start with this first. The Stila Stay All Day eyeliner, I have to say, has become my favorite eyeliner. I feel like it is wonderful and matte, and the brush is like nice and pointed, and it doesn't splay out super easily. It lasts forever, not only in the component but also on your eye. I love specifically the dual-ended ones, so I have two that are black on one end and then a different color on the other end, and then one that is teal on one end and like a jade green on the other. I love these so dang much, and they're kind of spendy, but well worth it. These have been open and in my collection for quite some time now and show no signs of drying up, and also super easy to use. One end is a like micro point, which makes it easy to do like graphic liner stuff, and the other one is a regular point. Really great for longevity. They really do stay all day, hence the name, and they're just beautiful. For single eyeshadows, and these are creams, I have the KVD Dazzle Sticks. Now, these haven't been talked about a whole lot, but I assure you, these are quite possibly the most beautiful cream eyeshadows I have in my collection, and that you could have also in your collection. These are stunning, and they don't crease, they don't, you know, move around your lid space. They last for a grip ton of time. They're super easy to use. You can put them on with a brush, you can put them on with your finger, you can put them on with a stick, but and they're so impactful. I've had so many comments every single time I wear these, and just, you guys, look at how stunning those are and how like impactful they are. They're just beautiful, and I have not noticed any creasing or anything like that. And once you get them on and they dry down, they go nowhere, but you do have some time to blend them out. They're great for one shadow eye looks, one and done eye looks. Some of the favorite palettes that I've used this year, I'm not going to go over these a whole lot because I did all of the palettes that I used this year. I put into a ranking, and I'll link that video as well. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here, but I did finally pick up Melt Gemini, and with it I picked up Gemini 2. This is the first time I've tried Melt Gemini. These were my number, I think, 3 and 4 palettes of the year. I loved these palettes so dang much. The color stories were nice and grungy, but also girly and pretty, and that was a completely different formula than I have ever had with Melt in the past. Like, it just worked so dang well. I really fell in love with cool tones this last year, and this was probably what did that for me. And yes, I owe a tutorial with the mini Xenon, and I will be filming it this weekend. This is what really did it for me, not the Glam palette. This one, I had a lot of fun with this little 5-pan Natasha Denona palette this year. I fell in love with NARS this year, and this is the first time I had ever tried their eyeshadow, and this was just a beautiful warm toned eyeshadow palette that was so beautiful and bronzy and goddess like for the summer. And I really did find absolutely no problems with working with the NARS formulation in eyeshadows. I do wish that their eyeshadows came out in more of a permanent way, because you can't get their eyeshadows are only out for like 3 months and then you can't get them anymore. But that I will have my eye on NARS eyeshadows in the future because of how easy that palette was to use. That formula is just spectacular. This is the first time I had ever used Patrick Ta eyeshadows. And this one is the Major Dimension 2 eyeshadow palette. I don't want Major Dimension 1, it's very brown. And this falls more into my color story liking. But even the cream shadows in this palette were phenomenal. The shimmers in this palette are so impactful, so beautiful. If you don't like Folly Outy though and super glittery, you're not going to love them. Glitter glue was my best friend while I was using this, but such a beautiful palette. And then the Danessa Myrex, this is just a snack of what she can possibly do. This is her Lightwork Volume 3 Experience palette. And man, you know, I just tried this, honestly, for the first time. I have a palette roulette on it. I'll link it up in the cards, but God, so beautiful. And if you're interested in multi-chromes, but not interested in paying, you know, $20 per or whatever it is, not interested in the time that it might take you to get them from, say, Cleona or, you know, any other place that really does try multi-chromes, Danessa Myrex does some phenomenal multi-chromes, mainstream, best you can get. And then I also had one full set on here that I wanted to mention because I would be remiss if I didn't. And that is the Natasha Denona My Dream collection that she came out with this year. I tried everything and some of them were first time tries for me as far as Natasha Denona goes. This lipstick, hands down, one of the most emollient, most hydrating, most beautiful lipsticks I have ever used. I loved this lipstick and have used it so much since. Not a huge fan of the gloss, honestly. I've had better glosses, but it's not a bad gloss. The lip liner ranks right up there with the Charlotte Tilbury lip cheats. I felt like it was a really nice lip liner that was super moisturizing, super emollient, and I could, you know, put it on and not feel like it was tugging at my lips. And it is also a sharpenable pencil. So like I said, with the lip cheat, it's kind of unheard of with a sharpenable pencil that it's as emollient as that one felt or the lip cheat felt. This face palette, hands down, gorgeous. This blush, I could not put it down. I had to force myself to put this thing away because I love this blush, and it's cream without being super creamy. It's got a nice like creamed powder formulation of it. These two, I didn't love this 100% until I used that and then put this on top of it. Oh my God, blown away. Beautiful, beautiful face palette. And then this eyeshadow palette, I would honestly say is also, could be my dream palette. This is an everyday palette for me. Like the fact that it's got a really, really deep, dark color in it, a black in it, as well as, you know, lighter tones in it, and the purples and the orangey tones. Like, it is just a perfect palette also for me. Again, not going to spend super amount of time on that because I did go through that palette in my ranking. It didn't rank really down there, but I had only used it, I think, one time when I had done that ranking. So those are my 2022 favorites. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your favorite products of 2022 were. Let me know what I'm missing. I would love that. I think I'm turning a little bit orange in the screen, so I think there's something wrong with my white balance right now, but I am going to get on out of here. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, give it a big thumbs up. It really does help our channels out there. Let me know in the comments section what you think about everything I went over, what you think about what's new for you, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you and yours are well, that you're safe, that you're healthy, and that you're doing great in this crazy world we're living in right now. I hope that you are all loving each other, but loving each other from afar. And until next time, bye friends.